Well, after John Tory's announcement last week that he will not be running for mayor in this year's election, Liaison Strategies has now released new polling showing the top candidates in a field without the former mayor.
And David Valentin, Principal Liaison, is joining us live this morning with the latest on a bit of a pulse check on the city of Toronto. David, good to see you this morning. These numbers out just this morning, quite interesting. Paint a picture of a race. Although John Tory's name still is in your polling here, it's really the race between Chow and Bradford. But Chow seems to have a pretty solid lead at this point, even though she's not declared.
That's right. So the mayor hasn't declared yet. She's got a double-digit lead over Councillor Bradford. And then we're seeing now more support, as John Tory has exited the race, as you mentioned, more support now for Olivia Chow, a little bit more, a lot more support for Bradford. And then Michael Ford has mentioned he might be running, so we're finding some support for him as well. Almost 1 in 3 in Etobicoke, Heart of Ford Nation, saying they would vote for Michael Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah, and David, it's really when you look at the different areas like downtown, Etobicoke, Scarborough, she seems to have like a really high support rate in the downtown core, but where it kind of, I don't know, isn't as strong as perhaps Etobicoke. Can you explain what we're seeing there?
Well, it's interesting. The mayor has really not been doing well in Etobicoke, whether it's the approval numbers we look at, direction of the city. Right now, she's actually doing pretty well in Etobicoke in the sense that she's in first, but mostly that comes because Councillor Bradford and Michael Ford are splitting that Etobicoke vote amongst themselves. So in most situations, she would be second there right now. For right now, she's in first. But you know, really, her voter coalition, which has been downtown Toronto, pockets of North York, large parts of Scarborough, she won almost all of Scarborough last time. There's just one ward she lost.
Yeah.
That's the coalition she's built together. If she can hang on to that, then she'll be mayor again.
Wow.
So when you look at these numbers, it is quite interesting here. It's also just an overall look at the state of Toronto in terms of where people are, in terms of right direction, wrong direction. I found those numbers interesting in the poll as well because they were both going in the same direction, both going up, right and wrong direction.
That's right. You've got less people who are unsure about what's going on, so more people are decided about which direction the city is taking. But this month has been a good month for Olivia Chow. Her approval rating is up 3 points, 50% now, up 1 point. On the city is going in the right direction. So these are positive trend numbers for her. But that being said, she still faces a split opposition, and she's enjoying those benefits as well.
And David, it looks from the numbers that you put out that she tends to do better with younger voters and also women.
That's right. Those are two parts of the coalition that she's built, those who are 18 to 34 and also women. And for now, she needs to do a little bit more work with men. But even there, she still posts strong numbers.
So what do you think this, and again, Chow has not declared, I guess we have to make that, painfully obvious, and even though everyone assumes she's going to be running, what do you think numbers like this say about where this race could be going now in the next, 2 to 4 months?
Well, I think the large question is who's going to be the primary opposition to the mayor? For a long time, it was sort of a battle between John Tory and Brad Bradford. Brad Bradford picking up a lot of steam over the last few months. But now it looks like we're going to have another mini primary between Brad Bradford and Michael Ford. So we really have to keep an eye on this to see if they're both going to run. What kind of campaigns are they going to put together? But also, they both start from very different positions. Brad Bradford, a lot of people still do not know who he is. Low name recognition. Michael Ford, very high name recognition, but the premier is his uncle. Do Torontonians want one family running the province and also the city?
Right.
So that's going to be a natural barrier to his success.
And that's interesting because Doug Ford gets criticized as trying to be the mayor of Toronto as much as the premier of Ontario here. How does that, you think, play into the overall theme of the numbers you're seeing?
Well, the more that the premier sort of shows Torontonians that he can overrule Olivia Chow, that he can sort of impose his will anyway, right? That the city is a creature of the province, the easier it becomes to vote for Olivia Chow because now you've got someone who's going to keep her in check. Even if you cast a vote for her, don't worry, she can't do anything too crazy because the Premier of Ontario is right there as the referee. So I do think to some extent, some people would call it meddling, other people would say polite interventions. I do think it sort of lets her off the hook in terms of accountability. If she's not really in control, how can she be the one who's making things worse?
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be interesting, really, to see what happens after the FIFA World Cup as well.
Yes,
yeah,
much like the crosstown, and see how that influences people's opinion. Okay, David Valentin from Liaison, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having
David.
me.
Appreciate this.
it.
Yeah. Okay.